Faced with the choice between an aerodynamic bike, a lightweight climbing bike, and a more comfortable sportive version, how can you decide which bike is best for you? We took a look around the teams at the Tour of California with Logan VonBokel of Velonews to find out what the teams are using and why. Logan, we've got the Trek, Madones and Demanes of Bissell Development here. Can you explain the approach of that team?
Most of the other teams around the paddock right now are all riding their aero race bike or just the lightweight climbing bike. Trek offers a more aggressive version of their endurance road bike, the Demane. So the Demane Classics Edition, which is what I'm holding right here, is almost the same geometry as the Madone, and they're making another model soon that will be even more aggressive than the current Classics Edition. So in the case of the Bissell development team, they're split pretty evenly between the Madone and the Demane.
Here's an example of a lightweight race bike versus an aero bike. Logan, can you talk us through the differences and why a rider may choose one or the other?
So I think the best example in this case is that Chad Haga, who is more of a GC contender, is on a TCR, which is a lighter weight bike for climbing, and John Degenkolb here is on a Propel, which is their aerodynamic bike. And the Propel is very, very fast in the wind tunnel, and when it comes time for a sprint, he wants that really, really big advantage of an aero road frame. Whereas Haga's never going to hit, or I shouldn't say never, he's not going to hit speeds like that as often, and he's more concerned about being efficient when he's trying to keep up with the general classification contenders going uphill.
How does a rider make the choice? What do they base their decision on?
So a lot of it's comfort. Between the Demane and the Madone. The Madone is considered an aero road bike, but it's not as aggressively aerodynamic as a Propel. So the advantages are not as dramatic as they are in the case of that bike. The Demane is very quick, but it's also quite comfortable. It has the ISO-speed decoupler system, which riders spending a lot of time in the saddle day after day. It's going to smooth out the road.
So does a rider choose their bikes based on their own strengths or based on the races they want to perform in?
Both. At a race like Tour of California, they're going to choose the bike that they're most comfortable with. At the classics, they're all going to be on Demanes. When you're talking aero, it's pretty important these days. I mean, you look at the Omega Pharma Quick Step riders, and most of them will be on the Specialized bench this weekend, and almost all of them will be wearing the aero road helmet.
You looked around your bike, you're using the Madone, not the Demane. Is there a reason that you choose that bike over the others?
I use the Madone and the Demane. So the Demane for the cobbled races, and then the Madone for the Helio races.
Which one do you train on?
The Madone.
Why do you choose an aero bike over the...
Breakaways. Right, yeah, I'm either on the front chasing the breakaway or trying to be in the breakaway usually, so it suits me.
Why do you choose the Demane over the Madone?
I chose the Demane over the Madone. I think it's a more comfortable ride. It's a little bit heavier than the Madone, but for me, I feel like I'll save watts by not hitting the brakes because I feel more comfortable than saving it in weight.
Okay, great. So it's down to riding style over...
Yeah, yeah, it's better on the bumpy roads, and I feel like it, fast descents, it's a little bit more smooth.
Logan, we've seen how the pros choose a frame. How can a consumer apply this to their own bike purchase?
I think the first and most important part is for a consumer to know exactly what their dimensions are on their bike, their saddle height, but then from there they need to know how much drop they need and how much reach they need. In the case of a lot of endurance road bikes, you can't get a very aggressive fit, which is why you don't see riders from Specialized teams or other teams riding their endurance road bikes all the time, because they're just not as easily set up to an aggressive fit. Once you have your fit in and you've got a bike that'll work for you, think about riding style and what you're looking for in a bike. For most riders, the endurance road bike is a great option because it's comfortable and you can fit a wider tire in it. But a lot of people want something that's going to really fly. They want something a little bit more racy, or they want to ride what they see the pros on. So you have to weigh all of your different options and then ride them, test them, and see which ones you like. If you like the better braking performance of, say, the Demane compared to a Madone, or if you like the stiffer and racier frame, then the Madone would be your way. So it's a lot of different ways to go with it.
Thanks, Logan. Don't forget to check out velonews.com and subscribe to GCN on YouTube.